15 to 20 years from now, the GOAT conversation is going to go like this. MJ, Braun, and Whitney. Those are the three names that are going to come up in the GOAT conversation. Because if this man stays healthy, right, he's going to be arguably the best defensive player we've ever seen.
Everyone knows Victor Wembanyama is a 7 feet 5 inches freak of nature, a cheat code who dominates both ends of the floor. But that's not the scariest part. The real problem is what's coming in San Antonio this season, a transformation so complete it might just break basketball as we know it.
Powerful jumper. Mitchell and Wembanyama, the Grim Reaper. Wemby on the other end, banks it in.
The Spurs are 7-2. Let that sink in for a moment. This is the same franchise that hadn't enjoyed even a 5-game winning streak since the 2021 season. The same team that spent the last 3 years perfecting the art of losing, enduring 11 separate 5-game skids, while posting a combined 78 to 168 record. But something has changed in San Antonio. For the first time in franchise history, the Spurs opened a season 5-0, powered by Victor Wembanyama's absurd averages of 24.3 points, 14 rebounds, and nearly 4 blocks per game. And here's the wild part. They did it without former All-Star guard De'Aaron Fox, who was sidelined with a hamstring injury. Now that Fox is back, the Spurs have looked unstoppable, dropping 126 points on the Pelicans and 121 on the Rockets in back-to-back wins. They currently rank 5th in the NBA in defensive rating and 6th in offensive rating, a balance that perfectly reflects their newfound identity. Aggressive guard play, steady veteran leadership, and Wembanyama's inevitable dominance. This turnaround has been years in the making. Just last season, the Spurs lost 18 straight games, following a 16-game skid the year before a shocking collapse for a team that once defined consistency. This is the same organization that won 5 championships, made 22 consecutive playoff appearances, and posted 21 double-digit winning streaks in its 53-year history. Then, on October 30th, everything shifted. A win over the Miami Heat sealed a 5-0 start, the first ever in Spurs history. And what makes it even more remarkable is who accomplished it. A roster led by a 21-year-old unicorn surrounded by 9 players aged 25 or younger, none of whom had ever experienced even a 35-win season. Guard Dion Vassell captured the sentiment perfectly. Tired of losing. I've been here for a long time. It's been a journey. Just tired of losing. That hunger radiates across the roster. Vassell's improved spacing opens the floor for Wemby and the Spurs guards to attack. And when defenses collapse on the big man, Vassell can effortlessly create his own shot. After carrying the pre-Wemby squads through dark stretches, he's now thriving with less pressure and more purpose. Against the Pelicans, he poured in 16 points and finished a team best plus 22. Forward Keldon Johnson, the longest tenured Spur, feels that same rejuvenation. Feels good to be winning. Best feeling in the world, he said. Now in his 7th season, Johnson has embraced a 6th-man role, trading volume for efficiency. His scoring numbers have dipped, but his energy, shot selection, and rebounding are the best they've been in years. And then there's Julian Champagnie, quietly one of the breakout stories behind San Antonio's hot start. After torching the Rockets with 22 points and hitting 6 of 13 from deep, Champagnie is proving himself one of the best value contracts in the league. This is no longer the rebuilding Spurs. This is a young, hungry, and balanced team with a generational superstar leading the charge. And for the first time in years, San Antonio basketball feels alive again.
They're coming quickly when he puts it down.
That goes down for Champagnie.
At 6 feet 8 inches, Julian Champagnie brings exactly what every modern wing needs: size, mobility, and a reliable shooting touch. He's not a lockdown defender, but he's far from a liability. His length allows him to contest shots effectively, and his versatility makes him a true plug-and-play option across multiple positions, from shooting guard to small ball power forward. Most importantly, he provides the one thing San Antonio has been desperate for: consistent outside shooting. When Wembanyama draws double teams, which happens virtually every possession now, Champagnie and Harrison Barnes are thriving on wide-open threes. Even with De'Aaron Fox back in the lineup, Champagnie's impact isn't going anywhere. Players like him, who can defend their position, space the floor, and do the dirty work, are the glue that holds winning teams together. Speaking of Fox, his season debut against the Pelicans was everything Spurs fans could have hoped for. He looked sharp, scoring 24 points on 9 of 14 shooting, adding 3 rebounds, 3 assists, and a steal, with no signs of rust or hesitation. But it was his composure in the clutch that reminded everyone why he's a former clutch player of the year. With 29 seconds left and the Pelicans making one final push, Fox buried a dagger floater to put the game away, then calmly knocked down 2 free throws to seal it. And that wasn't even his best stretch of the night. In the second quarter, Fox went on a personal 10-0 run, completely taking over and reminding everyone what this Spurs offense had been missing. That connective spark, that dynamic, tempo-shifting creator who can bend defenses in ways no one else on the roster can. His early season absence was noticeable, as the Spurs' half-court offense often struggled to find rhythm or create late-clock opportunities. Now, with Fox back, San Antonio finally has a true closer. Then there's reigning Rookie of the Year, Stephon Castle, who's evolving in real time. Against the Rockets, he posted 14 points and 13 assists. The next game against the Pelicans, he followed it up with 14 points and 14 assists, back-to-back double-doubles in the assist column. Castle isn't just cutting, spotting up, or running lanes anymore. He's initiating the offense, seeking out contact, and controlling pace with growing confidence. Early in the season, Castle is averaging 18.2 points, 5.8 rebounds, and 7.4 assists. And with his size, defensive IQ, and maturity, he's quickly becoming the perfect bridge between San Antonio's shooters, playmakers, and its generational superstar.
That game. Castle with time and space and Shelley. Put it up.
The San Antonio Spurs are not just winning basketball games. They're rewriting their identity in real time. And at the center of it all is Victor Wembanyama, the 21-year-old phenom whose presence has transformed a rebuilding team into a legitimate problem for the rest of the league. Now, with De'Aaron Fox back, Wemby doesn't have to shoulder as much of the scoring burden. Instead, he's leaning into what makes him even more dangerous: his playmaking and patience. Fox's return has allowed the offense to flow with structure and rhythm. The Spurs no longer rely on Wemby to create everything from scratch. Second-year guard Stephon Castle has thrived in this new balance, dishing out 13 assists against Houston and 14 more against New Orleans. That's elite vision for such a young player, and his growth as a floor general has been one of the biggest revelations of the season. If he starts knocking down spot-up threes consistently, Castle could become one of the most complete young guards in the NBA. Meanwhile, number 2 overall pick Dylan Harper was making plenty of noise before a calf strain sidelined him. His downhill pressure is relentless. Every drive forces defenses to rotate, and his ability to read those rotations, knowing when to finish and when to kick, shows a maturity well beyond his years. His footwork is crisp, his handle tight against full court pressure. And even coming off the bench, Harper finds ways to impact games on both ends. When healthy, he gives San Antonio another creator who can push the tempo and collapse defenses. With Fox, Harper, and Castle surrounding Wemby, the Spurs can shift seamlessly between 2 big lineups and guard-heavy looks, blending switchable defense with unpredictable offense. You can see it forming, the chemistry, the defined roles, and the system all orbiting around one unguardable truth. Victor Wembanyama warps the floor simply by stepping onto it. And that's the scary part. Because this team, already sitting at 7-2, still hasn't come close to its ceiling. Wemby's still learning, still adjusting, and still growing into the kind of player who can dominate on command. Early in the season, he's shown flashes of both brilliance and learning moments. Take his game against the Rockets, for instance. He struggled early, scoring just 4 points in the first half as Houston sent waves of double teams and dared him to rush. He looked flustered at times, forcing passes and committing turnovers. But in the second half, he flipped the switch. Instead of forcing plays, he slowed the game down, read the defense, and made the right decisions, passing out of doubles, attacking when the floor opened up, and punishing mismatches. That's the evolution you see in great playmaking bigs. the Jokic-like patience that turns chaos into opportunity. Wemby finished that game with 22 points, 8 rebounds, 4 assists, and 2 blocks. Not an eye-popping stat line, but one that reflected growth and adaptability. Then came the Pelicans game. 18 points and 18 rebounds, dominating the glass and initiating fast breaks like a 7-foot guard. Even when his shot wasn't falling, he controlled the game through defense, rebounding, and decision-making. And that's where the real terror lies. He's still inconsistent, yet the Spurs keep winning. Their depth is legitimate. San Antonio can run 10 to 12 deep on any given night, and against the Pelicans, 8 different players scored in double figures. That kind of balance makes them unpredictable and nearly impossible to game plan for. Fox, Sachin, and Kelly Olynyk are all back from injuries, giving head coach Mitch Johnson more lineup flexibility than the franchise has had in years. Want to go big with Wemby and Olynyk or Cornette protecting the paint? Done. Want to play small and fast with Fox, Castle, and Harper running the break? Easy. Need veteran leadership and perimeter shooting? Harrison Barnes has been lethal, dropping 24 points on 8 of 11 shooting against Houston, then following it up with 15 points and 3 triples versus New Orleans. His steady presence gives San Antonio the kind of mature scoring option that championship-caliber teams rely on. And that's the key. The Spurs don't need Wemby to explode for 40 points every night. They can win when he scores 18. They can win when Fox has an off night. Someone different steps up each game, and that's the hallmark of a contender. But make no mistake, everything starts and ends with Victor Wembanyama. After an off-season that saw him train with Shaolin monks in China to improve balance and discipline, then work with Jamal Crawford, Kevin Garnett, and Hakeem Olajuwon to refine his offensive arsenal, Wemby returned looking different. Stronger, more polished, more complete. He's not just blocking shots, dunking on defenders, or splashing threes anymore. He's mastering the details. He's hitting fadeaways from the elbow, using pump fakes to draw fouls, and leveraging his strength to bump defenders before finishing over them. His handle has tightened, his footwork is smoother, and his drives now end in either a pass or a dunk. Those deer-on-ice moments from his rookie year? Gone. Now, every movement has purpose. You can see Hakeem's influence in his postgame, the jab steps, the pivots, the patience. He's living inside the paint more this season, and that's been the biggest transformation in his offensive approach. His shot chart tells the story. More attempts from the paint, floaters, and mid-range. Fewer from deep. And it's paying off. He's averaging 8 free throws a game, up from just over 5 last season, because he's forcing contact, playing through defenders, and demanding physicality. When Wemby attacks the paint, defenses have no choice but to collapse, and that opens up the floor in 2 major ways. First, it frees shooters like Barnes, Champagny, and Vell, who are getting cleaner looks than ever before. And second, it creates chaos for cutters and slashers, guys like Castle, Fox, and Harper, who thrive when defenses are scrambling. Wemby doesn't just draw double teams. He draws defensive overreactions. That's his gravity. On defense, his impact is even greater. He's a one-man ecosystem, a deterrent and destroyer rolled into one. His 8-foot wingspan doesn't just erase shots. It alters offensive game plans. Guards hesitate to drive, bigs avoid posting up, and teams are forced to settle for jumpers they don't want. Spurs assistant coach Shea Sweeney has built a defensive scheme designed around that gravity. Long, active wings like Castle, Champagny, Sachin, Vell, and Johnson chase over screens and funnel everything toward Wemby's reach. Instead of switching everything, the Spurs use their length to disrupt passing lanes and turn common actions into traps. It's chaos by design, and Wemby anchors all of it. His presence allows his teammates to play freer and more aggressively. Guards can gamble for steals. Wings can press higher on the perimeter. Everyone can take more risks, knowing the backline is protected. When an opponent beats their man, they're met with a looming shadow that forces rushed floaters or awkward kickouts. What used to be a high-percentage drive becomes a low-percentage prayer. That's Wemby's defensive superpower. He shrinks the floor for opponents and expands it for his teammates. This version of the Spurs isn't waiting for Wembanyama to arrive. They're already playing like he's their centerpiece, their gravitational pull. His maturity has accelerated faster than anyone expected. His body language has shifted from cautious to commanding. Every possession now feels like it runs through his will. And in many ways, the Spurs' transformation mirrors his own. The franchise that once embodied patience is suddenly playing with urgency. When Wemby said he didn't want to lose anymore, it wasn't just a quote. It was a mission statement. And it's already paying off. Victor Wembanyama isn't just the future of the Spurs. He's the force reshaping their present. With Fox orchestrating, Castle connecting, Harper attacking, and veterans like Barnes and Bell spacing the floor, San Antonio has built something real. A roster with depth, chemistry, and purpose. So, are the Spurs legitimate contenders this year? That's the question echoing across the league right now. One thing's for sure, if this is only the beginning, the rest of the NBA should be terrified. Because the floor in San Antonio isn't just stretching, it's breaking wide open.